One thing I found is that in business and life, you have goals and you have systems, right? And a lot of times you'll hear like motivational people going, you have to rise to your goals, right? Rise to your goals. Meet the day, right? Rise up to the goal. So you don't rise to the level of your goals, right? What happens is just through the course of life, you fall to the level of your systems. So the systems are the thing that's going to catch you, and the systems are the thing that's actually going to sustain you, right, over time, right? Goals and emotions and all that stuff are great, but the systems, right, that's where the difference is made. And we are rolling. What's up, guys? Welcome to Unlimited Freedom. This is Vaughn with Unlimited Freedom, and my question to you is, did you get your t-shirt?
You know, if you're not going to become a network marketer, we're not going to pay you what we said we were going to pay you, right? News announcement. And this is a breaking news announcement. And this is a breaking chat live on Friday. We go Novatech update.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want.
We're about to crack into the content here at the Unlimited Freedom Network, but before we do, guys, I'm not a financial advisor, okay? This is not financial advice. Everything that I talk about on here is for educational purposes only. Also, the full disclaimer is linked in the description to this video. So all you gotta do is open up the description. You'll see the disclaimer there. Also, if you're interested in any of the platforms that I talk about on here, the links are all in the description to the video. So just go to the description, click more info. It'll open up a drop-down menu. You can find the links there to where you can check out more about the different platforms that I talk about on my channel. Also, guys, rumble.com. Go to rumble.com and search for Unlimited Freedom 6500. That's Unlimited Freedom 6500. Make sure to like and subscribe there. Follow me there. That way, if I ever get deplatformed from YouTube for any reason, I'm going to continue on, right, at rumble.com, which is the last bastion of free speech on the internet, right? So just keep that in mind in case I mysteriously ever disappear from YouTube. Having said that, guys, let's get into the sauce. All right, welcome to today's edition of the Rug Report, and we've got, we got a big one. I mean, that's just something that are you really surprised? Right? Are you really surprised? You probably shouldn't be if you've been watching my channel. I mean, if you've been paying attention to the Unlimited Freedom Network, right? You probably are not surprised. However, you know, it just, every single time this happens, I get these haters in the comments. And I don't want to call you guys haters, but what you are is you're like the eternally optimistic people who just even in the face of all kinds of red flags, you still believe in your little pet project, whatever it is, right? The same thing happened with Novatech, right? When Novatech was going down. And I've heard you. My God, have I heard you guys? Okay, I know that you want more on Novatech. So I'm going to give you what you want, right? We're going to do a series, right? We'll do a full expose on Novatech, how it got started, who the people are. We'll talk about AWS mining that happened before Novatech. We'll talk about how Novatech became a thing, how it became such a phenomenon, and then the unique phenomenon about how it brought in a lot of people who were not in the crypto sphere, right? And that's where it got its popularity. That's why it became bigger than every other platform. And it's also why to this day, you're still worried about Novatech, because a lot of you hardcore Novatech people, this was your first entry into crypto and you had no idea. You had no understanding about what the space is all about, which is why you're still holding on now. I mean, this thing is, anyway, we're going to give you what you want, right? You wanted that and I'm going to give you that, right? But this is about our latest debacle, right, in the space, which is QP, right? And, so there's a timeline here, right? There's a timeline when it comes to what happened with QP, right? And it started a while ago now, right? It started a while ago now with the, sometimes these platforms will start something where they choose the winners and the losers, right? They'll start choosing who to pay and who not to pay. Right. And whatever your feelings are, whatever your thoughts are on the whole thing that went down about the guy who put in a lot of money and then had multiple levels and, had multiple accounts and then got his money taken. Right. The thing is, a lot of people in QP had multiple accounts. So a lot of people at QP were breaking that rule. So why is it that they punished this particular person when they didn't punish the 1,000 other people who were doing the same thing? That's the type of question you have to ask yourself. And that was the beginning of the beginning of the beginning. And that was, I don't know, maybe a month ago now when that happened. And then there have been other signs since then. And the biggest sign was the money grab at the end, right? The money grab was the new crypto bot, right? And the money grab was the new token, right? And then right there at the end, they started actually selling hats and t-shirts and this and that and the other thing. Basically, money grab. Right. And usually what a platform, so everybody wins in the platform, right? Except for the platform themselves, right? They say, hey, we've made a bunch of people rich, but now we're out of money and we haven't enjoyed the fruits of our labors. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a bunch of new projects. We're going to create a bunch of new quote unquote programs. We're going to suck in Vortic United did the same thing. We're going to suck in a bunch of new money, right? And then we're going to pull the rug, boom, just like that. And we're going to run away with that new money. Right, so the people who I think are the people who came up on the short end of the stick in this are the people who just recently put in a bunch of new money. So if you just threw in 10,000 into QP, or if you just threw 20,000 or 100,000 into QP, you're hurting right now. You're hurting, right? Because now we've got the 502 bad gateway. There was an error. I'm sure you heard some of my videos. You probably ignored me, right? You probably lumped me in with some of the other people in the space who are the MLM haters, right? The anti-MLM people, but I'm not an anti-MLM person, right? And that's what's got you all messed up. You can't figure out where to peg your boy on unlimited freedom. You can't figure out where I go, right? Because I don't fit into a mold, right? I'm not I'm not anti-MLM. I'm not pro-MLM, right? I'm not pro. I'm not going to sing these platforms praises. Once they start screwing up, I'm going to call them out and I'm going to shoot them full of holes, right? But that doesn't mean that I'm with these anti-MLM people who are dogmatic people. The anti-MLM people they're true believers in anti-MLM, just like other people are true believers in pro-MLM. It's the same sickness. It's the same misplaced faith. It's the same blind belief. It's the same concept of the blind leading the blind. And if a blind man leads a blind man, they both are going to fall off a cliff, right? So you got the MLM pro people over here who are blinded to anything negative. You don't want to hear any FUD, no negativity, right? We're gonna brainwash ourselves into positivity, right? And then you got the people here on the other end who are just anti everything MLM. But what they don't understand is that everything's an MLM. The world is a pyramid scheme. The world is a Ponzi scheme. Right? Look at your favorite insurance company, right? Look at your favorite restaurant food chain, right? Look at the government that you think is going to come and save you, right? You think that you love the government, right? You want to see these bad guys go to jail, right? Look at the jail system, the prison system. Talk about a Ponzi scheme. So there's this willful blindness on either side, but we're not going to get into any of that. We're just going to get into the truth. Right. And the truth is usually pretty simple because the truth is usually just pretty evident. Right. It's sitting there right in front of you. QP was great, lasted a long time, and it made a lot of people very, very rich. It made a lot of people a lot of money. Right. I mean, keep in mind, this thing lasted about a year, right? Almost a year. Well, yeah, a year. Because it started December 22nd. So not quite a year, but very, very close. I mean, it was days away. And over the course of time, a lot of people had multiple cycles in QP where they made a lot of money. I mean, really cleaned up passively, right? And then the people who shared the opportunity, obviously they cleaned up as well for the people who coming in, the commissions and things like that, the different levels of commissions that they gave. So people made a lot of money with QP. And that's what we cannot forget. Right? Before you start throwing the word scam around and calling it a scam and this and that and the other thing, you have to understand that QP made a lot of people rich for a long time. Right? And that none of these platforms have lasted. Right? I mean, we talked about Novatech at the beginning of the video. Novatech lasted 4 years, which is unheard of in the space. Right? So QP made it almost a year. Right? The same thing with Vortic United. They made it almost a year and then they failed. So that's a good marker. A year is always a good marker, right? So if something in the space is really, really good, it might last a year. But, any more than that, you're just totally pushing it, at that point. And that's what I try to talk about. That's what I try to teach. There's a lot of opportunities here, right? So, I mean, we don't need to throw all of our eggs in the same basket. We don't need to throw all of our money into something like QP, right? It's good to have a stake in QP, and I had a stake in it for a long time, right? And it worked out for a long time until it didn't. The problem is you guys get, people, not just you, but anybody gets emotionally attached to things if you're not careful, right? You got to be pretty brutal. You got to be pretty ruthless, right? Not to be getting emotionally attached to anything. And that comes over trauma, right? Sustained trauma over time, right? So the more you go through adversity, quote unquote, the more adversity you go through in life, the harder you become, and the more ruthless you become, and the more able to pivot you become, right? Because you've seen things come and go, right? You're not operating out of some sort of misguided, pie in the sky, ideal, right? Disney movie ideal. That's just not, life isn't that, right? Life is pretty brutal, right? Go turn on Animal Planet or something. I mean, just watch what happens. I mean, you get to, I always think of this little lion cub, right? This pride of lions, the mother lion has a bunch of cubs, and there's this one cub that is a runt, right? It's a runt. So, in our pansy, panty waist society today, right? We would think, oh, it's got special needs, right? You have to treat it special, right? You have to give it more, right? You have to give it extra attention, extra love. Man, this lion cub, the mother would actually pick it up and throw it out. She wouldn't let it suck on her tit, right? She wouldn't let it have the milk, right? She wouldn't let it be with the other cubs. She pushed it away. But it lived. And it followed her, and it followed the other cubs. And as time went by, it got stronger and stronger and stronger and more powerful. And finally, once it showed that it became strong and it showed that it was going to survive, it got let back in to the group, right? That's reality, right? That's how the world really works, right? People get dropped on their head. Maybe you're getting dropped on your head right now. Well, welcome to life. You're either going to get stronger or you're going to succumb and die. Simple as that, right? That's life, right? There's no Disney movie here. There's no happy endings, right? It's the strong survive and the weak perish, right? And those who are most adaptable to change are those who are going to even outpace the strong, right? That's reality. Okay? So, it's kind of a little tangent there, but it's important, right? It's important because you got to be able to pivot in the space, right? And QP, I saw the writing on the wall for this thing. I've been seeing the writing on the wall, and I've been talking about it, right? And I've been getting the pushback from people in the space. But here we are, you know what I mean? The rug has been pulled. QP is over, right? The final nail has been put into the coffin, and the question becomes, I'm not going to come on here and say I told you so. You already know. Right? But the question becomes, where can I point you now? What can I do now to help you if you are choosing to stay in the space, right? After something like this happens. QP was a money-making machine, baby. We all made a lot with QP. So where to go next, right? What to do next, right, after something like this happens? Typically what you want to do is you want to catch the signs early on these, right? And you want to get out. And that's one of the reasons why, right, that the Unlimited Freedom Network is here, right, is that I was able to predict and see coming the fall of a lot of different platforms, and I got out of them in time, right, meaning I didn't lose my capital, okay? Probably the most impressive one that I came through was Novatech. Most people lost their capital, right? I didn't, because... As much as I loved Novatech and as much as I thought it was great and everything like that, I knew that it was going to be over soon once the cease and desist orders started pouring in, right? And what happened with QP? We just had a cease and desist order, right? We just had a fraud warning out of the UK, and in a matter of days, 3 days, 4 days tops, they're gone, right? So The fraud warning for Novatech hit in the state of California, and I immediately withdrew everything that was in there. Well, everything of substance. I left $1,000 in there, but you got to understand, I had a large sum of money, and I withdrew it. Right, and I was one of the last people to get my withdrawal. I thought, and it took longer than the quote unquote 15 days. I was literally one of the last people to withdraw from Novatech. Right, and then to get out and, I don't know, ride off into the sunset, right, with the money. But, so you got to see the signs. You have to respond accordingly. You got to be diversified. You have to have other options, right? And you have to know where to land if you start to fall, right? So a couple of good places to land right now is you've got Shao Bank. You've got Crypto Option. Right, crypto option is beautiful, especially, and I have a feeling that a lot of people are going to go from QP over to crypto option, right? Because they're doing their thing. I literally withdraw from crypto option every single day, just like I was doing with QP. And now listen, I'm not playing favorites here, right? But I do have a relationship with the CEO of crypto option, and I have seen the trading. So, it's as in this space, everything is risky, right? Because you're dealing with a risky crypto space, an unregulated space, a free market space. So you're going to have risks that you're not used to, especially if you grew up in like the UK or the United States or Canada, somewhere like that. You grew up under a government that frankly treats you like a pussy. Your government thinks that you're stupid. Your government thinks that you're not smart enough to take care of yourself, and your government has taken on the initiative to take care of you with a bunch of laws and regulations, and they have pussified you, and they've pussified me, and they've pussified everybody else who grew up in the country, right? And the only way to unplug from that is to pull yourself up out of the matrix, like Neo, right? You rip that thing off, open up your eyes, and you're going to probably throw up a little bit, right? Because it's just such a shock when you come to reality. And you realize what's been done, right? I didn't ask for it. You didn't ask for it, right? We were born into government control, right? And so those of us who get out of it, right, it can be a pretty shocking thing and a pretty jarring thing, right? And some people don't live through the experience, and that's just the reality of it, right? But once you understand that you're in a risky crypto space, you're in a risky environment, then you can decide and make some decisions for yourself to protect your money and to grow your money, right? And crypto option is one of those. Another one is Shao Bank, right? Another one that's popping right now is Crypto Fund. So I mean, there's some good plays to be made in the space, right? L Green is still going strong. Dominion Airs, right? I mean, there's some really good plays, right, that we can get a hold of in the space right now. So when something like this happens, you just cut your losses and you move on to the next, right? You don't, life is all about having a rotation, right? Life is all about having options, right? Life is all about having a backup plan and a backup plan on top of your backup plan, right? A lot of times the people who get married and the people who fall in love and the people who really, really take that ride and they give 100% of themselves to a person or a platform or anything else, they get burned, and they get burned bad. Because the world doesn't work that way. Life doesn't work that way. Your fantasy works that way. The Disney movies you watch work that way, right? The government programming that you received ever since you were sucking on your mom's tit works that way. But reality doesn't work that way. You got to have multiple options, right? You've got to have something to fall back on when option 1 doesn't work out or option 2 doesn't work, right? And there's a lot of great that you can do in the space. And I'm going to be coming out with my Payday Thursday video in a few hours, right? And we're going to show you the plays that are working. We're going to show you the plays that are paying, right? So did you lose money in QP? That means you're probably new to this, more or less. You're probably pretty new to the space because most veterans did not lose money with QP. Most veterans made money with QP. And you would have to be a new kind of foolish. If you've been in this space for a while and you're a veteran in the space, and then you just put a bunch of money in QP, man, you got to be a fool for that, right? You need to rethink what you're doing here, right? Because that would have been a stupid move, straight up, right? No chaser. Here we are. We're at the Unlimited Freedom Network. I'm giving it to you raw. I'm giving it to you real. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, right? If you're a veteran in this space and you just put a bunch of money into QP, what are you smoking? Like, you need to rethink what you're doing here. Now, if you did lose money in it, then you're either going to be, this is going to be a lesson for you to do better next time, or you're just going to leave, right? You're going to leave the space and you're going to say everything's a scam, and that's fine. More power to you if you do that. But you're never gonna make it in life with that type of an attitude, right? Because you're defeated, and the person who defeated you is you. Right? You defeated yourself, right? It's all a scam. Right? I may as well just get on the couch and play video games and go and watch, inappropriate things on the computer, right? may as well just give up, right? Some people will, right? Other people, they'll take it as a life lesson, and then they will, put into place the things that I teach and preach on my channel, which is never invest anything that you cannot afford to lose. Withdraw early. Withdraw often. Diversify. Don't put $10,000 into one platform. Put $1,000 into 10. Right? Do your due diligence. Develop mental toughness. Become strong. Accept life on life's terms, not on your terms, because it doesn't work on your terms. Last time I checked, I'm not God. I didn't make the world. Right? Neither did you. You got to accept life on life's terms, baby. You got to figure out how to win. Simple as that. Right? You got to put these things into place. Okay? Now, as far as other rugs in the space, there, we've got the popular ones. Of course, Novatech, you guys still are worried about that for whatever reason. Then you've got Vortic United, right? People want to know what's going on there. Sportsbook, BitSports AI went away. You got a few more rugs out there. I'm not going to touch on them too much. I will do I am going to be getting, more into Novatech videos, God willing. We'll never know what tomorrow might bring, but if we're still around, we're going to hit that pretty hard, because I know that you guys want more, right? You can't get enough of Novatech, right? I don't know why. I mean, it's, it was cool, man, but things end, right? And that was a life lesson too for a lot of people. But this is the latest edition of the Rug Report, right? This is what's going on. QP's over. QP has rugged, and the warning signs were all there, right? And now here we are. So drop me a comment. Let me know what you think about this video and all the different videos. Don't forget to tune in to the other stuff. If you guys are only watching the Rug Report, you're missing out on a lot of good content that we have here at the Unlimited Freedom Network. We'll see you guys on the next one here at the Unlimited Freedom Network. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in to the Unlimited Freedom Network. I hope that you got some great value out of that content. I really appreciate you. Don't forget before you leave to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring that notification bell. That way you'll be notified whenever I release a new video here at the Unlimited Freedom Network. Also, the best way to support my work is to purchase my trading course, linked in the description. You can copy my profitable strategy. It's a trading strategy that I share with you. It's the one that I use every day. It's attainable, achievable, sustainable, and it's how I made more than I ever made before, right? Tired of getting rug pulled, right? Tired of feeling like you're not in control? Learn how to trade. Copy my strategy. Learn the skill, right? You will really be happy that you did, guys. And also, it's the best way to support my work. Also, guys, if you want to get into a fund, right, that's not going to rug pull on you, right, something that's going to be around, something that's more safe than the others, I dare say, check out Crypto Fund, right? The link is also in the description, and I do a lot of videos on Crypto Fund here. It is my #1 platform, and I am so confident in it that I'm actually sharing it along with my trading course, which I talk about on every single video. All right? We'll talk to you guys soon here at the Unlimited Freedom Network.